Hi everyone, Natalie Jones, dietitian again. Today I'm going to tell you about something I get asked a lot as a dietitian. So the minute I tell anyone I'm a dietitian, the first thing they say to me is, can you tell me how to lose weight? And the difficult thing is, and it's something that everyone knows, is that weight loss is really difficult and it's really complex. So when we're trying to lose weight, the people that do well are people that are trying day in, day out to change habits and then reflecting on those habits. So it's very much not an issue of, not a thing about just changing what you eat or me telling somebody what to do. However, there are a few things that people can do that can make quite a big difference to weight. And these are things that tend not to rock the boat too much, things that tend to be able to be maintained for quite a while. So some things that I tell people to do kind of initially, if they just want to know how to do it and how to lose weight, are very similar to the things I tell people to do when they're struggling. So when people are saying they can't do all the things that maybe they've been working at over the last year, maybe they've lost weight and they're struggling to keep it off. There are some kind of key behaviours that we can look at. So one of those, and you'll have heard me talk a bit about this, is self-monitoring. So even when things are going wrong, being aware of those things is really helpful. So by that I mean tracking, writing down what you eat and drink, using apps to self-monitor. That kind of thing basically makes you accountable to yourself and makes you very aware of what you're doing. So even when things are going wrong, they're nowhere near how they used to be. So that's one thing. The other things that are kind of more diet related in terms of actual things that you choose, liquid calories are tricky. So by liquid calories, I mean drinking milk as a drink, milkshake, lattes, that kind of thing, fruit juice as a drink, fizzy drinks that are non-diet, and obviously alcohol. So those things aren't filling, but they're actually very easy to consume. So you could easily drink 400 or 500 calories worth of liquid without feeling that full. And when you're not feeling that full, you'll then eat again. So what we want you to do when we're trying to change patterns and change kind of intake is to have a deficit but not feel hungry with that. So liquid calories is another priority, keeping those to a minimum. Also any added fat, so kind of added butter, oil, mayonnaise, whether that's dressing, cooking, that kind of thing. If you cut that out, if you cut out spread, for example, on your bread, you wouldn't necessarily notice that deficit. You wouldn't feel any hungrier because you've not had butter on that sandwich. However, if you did cut the bread out, you probably would feel a bit hungrier, or if you cut the protein that was in the bread, in the sandwich, you'd feel hungrier. So cutting the added fat is another one where you're cutting calories down, but you're not really noticing it, so you don't really feel that deficit. The other thing as well is to prevent any kind of overeating that's happening, and the easiest way to prevent overeating is eat beforehand. So if you know that you always eat a lot when you come home from work, perhaps because you're too hungry and then you feel that you can't stop in terms of the kind of volume that you're having or that hunger that's driving you, having something before you leave work can be quite helpful. Other thing is to think about portion size. So people always get confused with portion size, but sometimes it can be really simple. It can just be saying, well, actually, every time you eat something, cover half your plate with veg. So straight away, that's cutting the portions down of everything else. Plus, it's keeping the nutrients up and it's keeping the fibre up. So those kind of behavioural things in terms of not having the empty calories and the kind of liquid calories that are giving you a lot of energy without actually filling you up at all. Keeping down the portion size by having kind of more veg. So actually the volume of food that you're having is quite a lot, but you're cutting down on the higher calorie stuff and preventing kind of getting too hungry. So these are kind of key things that can work when you're trying to lose weight, and they're also things that can work when things are tricky, when you can't maybe manage all the changes that you've been doing, but keeping to kind of these basic things can be quite helpful. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye.